questions we get asked all the time is to explain what is different or revolutionary about Lands of Ruin, and why do we call it a hybrid game? So maybe you can talk about that.
Our approach is to make sure that the game is tabletop game first and tablet application second. So we don't want to mess up the traditional feel of tabletop gaming. So that was one of the design principles from the beginning. We want the game to be a tabletop game. We want it to be a miniature game. It feels like any other miniature game. But then the technology allows us to do things that wouldn't be possible otherwise, like AI-controlled rotters walking around on the battlefield, or making the gameplay really fast and easy to learn. But those are the things that we can add.
And make it more accessible through tutorial modes, and rather than having to reference a rule book and stat sheets, you have it all available to you in the app. The app takes care of most of the calculations for you, but you can still view it and analyze your strategy and things like that.
Yeah, so the main focus when you play Lands of Ruin, the main focus of the game is going to be on the table. It's going to be on your miniatures, it's going to be your terrain, it's going to be the line of sight of the miniatures. That's the key thing. You still roll the dice. The app tells you how much you need to roll, and it remembers your stats, and it remembers your wounds, and remembers everything. Right. You still have the excitement of miniature gaming. That's important.
Yeah, just a lot faster paced, because you don't have to calculate things on your own. You don't have to remember what happened previously, because the app will tell you if your guy was bleeding before, but you've applied first aid. It tells you, okay, he's no longer bleeding, so therefore these effects are no longer something you have to worry about.
How fast the gameplay is one of the key things. So in our test, when we play the game, when we know the rules and we know the system, we can play one whole game in 45 minutes. Right. And that's a kind of a board game duration already. Exactly. So you can play a game or two after the workday. Exactly. It's no longer a game of whole day, and we don't remove any of the parts of miniature gaming. We add more things.
Right. Exactly.
So we didn't simplify, we didn't dumb it down, but we managed to make it faster to play.
Right. And 45 minutes to play a game that has all of the intensity and complexity and more so. That's very amazing. But in addition, in our play tests, we've also had people who have never played a tabletop game before learn the game in 45 minutes to an hour with the assistance of the tutorial mode and everything else that the app provides.
Yeah, and then there's things that we added to the gaming. So something that is not possible on pen and paper. So we have AI-controlled characters on the table. We have third party. We have Games Master all the time, which is the computer. So you can play with your friend, and you have third party on the table, which is rotters walking around or robots walking around, and they created this really new kind of dimension to the gameplay. In the traditional gaming, it's limited by the means of gaming. It's limited by the fact that everybody knows everything. There's some ways to try to hide information with cards or writing things down, but we took it to the next level. We actually allow people to deploy characters on the table without having to use any kind of markers, without having to do anything. You have the sniper on the table, just to wait to take a shot at your opponent. The sniper is on the table, and your opponent might find the sniper in there. So the app takes care of it. So without either of the players knowing, the app will take care of figuring out if the other team will find the sniper. And you end up in a situation where I have a sniper on the table, your team has actually detected the sniper, but I don't know that you have detected it. Exactly. And so there's multiple layers of gameplay and like mind games into the game. You might fake that you know something you don't know, and that's a new level of interesting gameplay that we have been able to create.
Exactly. It's sort of theory of mind scenario where you have to play the game. Aside from the game that's happening on the table, you play a psychological game with your opponent where you try to figure out what information they have that's your secret, and they try to hide if they have information. So you never know what they know and what you know, and it's never quite the same. And that's realistic because in any given situation, one team might have some specialist or technology that allows them to know more about the battlefield or the environment than the other team, but you never can be certain that your opponent doesn't also have all of that information or some amount of it or anything else.
Then there's situations like, let's say that there's a situation outside the battlefield. There's a robot approaching that is very dangerous both to you both. But your team has scanners or equipment or skills to notice the approaching threat before your opponent is. The system, the game system, the tablet application will give the information to only the player who detects the incoming threat. What follows from that one is that I can react to it and you cannot. But on the other hand, I can also fake a threat approaching.
Exactly.
I can start moving my troops on the one side of the table, the other side, as if I had information, even though I don't have it.
Exactly.
To make you afraid of a threat that doesn't exist.
Right. So then if you react to what may or may not be a threat, and I notice it, then I'll think to myself, well, maybe he has some information that I don't have, so I better prepare for what may or may not happen. That may completely change my strategy, and if you're faking it, that might give you an advantage if I react to your reaction the way you hope I will.
So I think we introduce, with the hidden stuff, we introduce real like mind games to miniature gaming, which is very interesting to me.